Good evening and welcome back to Living Room Shakespeare. Tonight we will be presenting a series of scenes and monologues. So we aren't doing one show from beginning to end. We're going to do this kind of open mic style, although we've pre-decided what all of our scenes will be. And we'll be going from one show to another. You'll see me between scenes and I will let you know what we are up to and who's coming up next. And then we will just keep moving. So before we start, I would like to remind you that many of our actors consider the Center for Performing Arts in Rhinebeck to be our theatrical home in better times. And at the moment, they are doing a run of American Sun and Songs for a New World on their new outdoor stage, which is fantastic. But they're going to not be able to use the outdoor stage as it gets colder. So we are trying to raise some money for them to help them through the winter. So if you have the ability or the inclination, please consider donating here on this post or over on their website. There's a link in the post to donate there. Thank you so much. Tonight's monologues and scenes are all on the theme of superstition in Shakespeare. So we will be seeing lots of ghosts and dreams and fun superstitious things. And we are excited to get started. So tonight we are beginning with the prologue from Henry V. We have Molly as the chorus. Molly, if you are ready.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, fire, crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unraised spirits that hath dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon. Since a crooked figure may at a test a little place a million, and let us, ciphers to this great accompt on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts. Into 1,000 parts divide one man and make imaginary puissance. Think when we talk of horses that you see them, for 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings, carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass. For the which supply admit me chorus to this history, who prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play.
Thank you so much, Molly. Moving into our second scene tonight, we have from Richard III, Act 1, Scene 4. We will have Jake as the keeper and Kevin as Clarence.
Why looks your grace so heavily today?
Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams of ugly sights that, as I am a Christian faithful man, I would not spend another such a night, though 'twere to buy a world of happy days. So full of dismal terror was the time.
What was your dream, my lord? I pray you tell me.
Methoughts that I had broken from the tower and was embarked to cross to Burgundy. And in my company, my brother Gloucester, who from my cabin tempted me to walk upon the hatches. And there we looked toward England and sighted up 1,000 heavy times during the wars of York and Lancaster that had befallen us. As we paced along upon the giddy footing of the hatches, methought that Gloucester stumbled and in falling struck me that thought to stay him overboard into the tumbling billows of the main. O Lord, methought what pain it was to drown, what dreadful noise of water in mine ears, what sights of ugly death within mine eyes. Methought I saw 1,000 fearful wrecks, 1,000 men that fishes gnawed upon, wedges of gold, great anchors, heaps of pearl, inestimable stones, unvalued jewels, all scattered in the bottom of the sea. Some lay in dead men's skulls, and in those holes where eyes did once inhabit, there were crept, as 'twere in scorn of eyes, reflecting gems that wooed the slimy bottom of the deep and mocked the dead bones that lay scattered by.
Had you such leisure in the time of death to gaze upon these secrets of the deep?
Methought I had, and often did I strive to yield the ghost, but still the envious flood stopped in my soul and would not let it forth to find the empty, vast, and wandering air, but smothered it within my panting bulk, who almost burst to belch it in the sea.
Awakened you not in this sore agony?
No, my dream was lengthened after life. Oh, then began the tempest to my soul. I passed, methought, the melancholy flood with that sour ferryman, which poets write of, unto the kingdom of perpetual night. The first that there did greet my stranger's soul was my great father-in-law, renowned Warwick, who spake aloud, "What scourge for perjury can this dark monarchy afford false Clarence?" And so he vanished. Then came wandering by a shadow like an angel, with bright hair dabbled in blood. And he shrieked out aloud, "Clarence is come! False, fleeting, perjured Clarence that stabbed me in the field by Tewkesbury. Seize on him, furies, take him unto torment." With that, methought a legion of foul fiends environed me and howled in mine ears such hideous cries that with the very noise I trembling waked, and for a season after could not believe but that I was in hell. Such terrible impression made my dream.
No marvel, Lord. Tough it affrighted you. I am afraid methinks to hear you tell it.
Keeper, I have done these things that now give evidence against my soul for Edward's sake, and see how he requites me. O God, if my deep prayers cannot appease thee, but thou wilt be avenged on my misdeeds, yet execute thy wrath on me alone. O spare my guiltless wife and my poor children. Keeper, I prithee, sit by me a while. My soul is heavy, and I fain would sleep.
I will, my lord. God give your grace a good rest.
Thank you, Jake and Kevin. That was fantastic. We're going to move into Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 5. Playing Hamlet tonight, we'll have Steve, and as the ghost, we'll have Carl. Steve and Carl?
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I, sulphurous and tormenting flames, must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I unfold.
Speak, I'm bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires. To thee foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged. That I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears, flesh, blood. List, oh list! Thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh, God.
Revenge his foul, most unnatural murder.
Murder.
Murder most foul, as in the best it is. But this foul, strange, unnatural.
Oh, hates me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation were the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease unleft wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, here, 'tis given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, serpent that did sting thy father's life, now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, traitorous gifts, O wicked wit and gifts, that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. O Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness court it in a shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in the celestial bed, prey and garbage. Methinks I scent morning air. Brief let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon. On my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial. In the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth posset and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Most instant tether, barked about, most laser-like, with vile and loathsome crust, all my smooth body. Was I, sleeping by a brother's hand of life, crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled disappointed, unannaled, no reckoning made. But sent to my account all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal blood bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But however thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, to those thorns that in her bosom lie, to prick her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the maiden to be near, begins to pale his ineffectual fire. Adieu, 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 Hamlet. Remember me.
Oh, your host of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? Shall I couple hell? Oh, fie. Hold my heart. You, my sinews, grow not so old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee? I, the poor ghost. For memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Yeah. On the table of my memory, I will wipe away all trivial fond records, all sorts of books, all forms, all precious past. They use a observation copy there. And thy commandment all alone shall I live, within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven! Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain! Villain, smiling, damned villain! My tables. It is that I set it down, that one may smile and smile at the villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So uncle, there you are. To my word. It's adieu, remember. I swear.
Thank you, gentlemen. Wonderfully done. Next, we have a sonnet from Patricia. It's sonnet number 14. Patricia?
Not from the stars do I my judgment pluck, and yet methinks I have astronomy. But not to tell of good or evil luck, of plagues, of dearths, or seasons' quality, nor can I fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each his thunder, rain, and wind, or say with princes of it shall go well. By oft predict that I'm in heaven find, but from thine eyes of my knowledge I derive, and constant stars, in them I read such art, as truth and beauty shall together thrive, if from thyself to store thou wouldest convert. Or else of thee this I prognosticate. Thy end is truth's and beauty's doom and date.
Thank you, Tricia. That was beautiful. Next, we have from Comedy of Errors, Act 4, Scene 4. As Adriana, we have Vera. As Pinch, we have Kelly. As Dromio, we have Jeremy. And as Antipholus, both of Ephesus, we have Kevin.
Good Dr. Pinch, you are a conjurer. Establish him in his true sense again, and I will please you what you will demand.
Give me your hand and let me feel your pulse.
There is my hand, and let it feel your ear.
Ah! I charge thee, Satan, house within this man to yield possession to my holy prayers, and state of darkness
doting wizard, peace. I am not mad.
Oh, that thou wert not, poor distressed soul.
You minion! You! Are these your customers? Did this companion with the saffron face revel and feasted at my house today? Whilst upon me the guilty doors were shut, and I denied to enter in my house?
Oh, husband, God doth know you dined at home. Where would you have remained all this time, free from these slanders and this open shame?
Dined at home? Thou villain! What sayest thou?
Sir, sooth to say, you did not dine at home.
Were not my doors locked up and I shut out?
Purdy, your doors were locked and you shut out.
And did she now herself revile me there?
What sans fable she herself reviled you there?
Did not her kitchen maid rail, taunt, and scorn me?
Sir, she did. The kitchen vestal scorned you.
And did I not in rage depart from thence?
In verity, you did. My bones bear witness that since have felt the vigor of his rage.
It's good to soothe him in these contraries.
It is no shame. The fellow finds his vein, and yielding him humors his frenzy.
Thou hast suborned the goldsmith to arrest me.
Lass, I sent you money to redeem you by Dromio here, who came in haste for it.
Money by me? Heart and goodwill you might, but surely, master, not a rag of money.
Winced not thou to her for a purse of ducats?
He came to me, and I delivered it.
Well, God and the rope maker bear me witness that I was sent for nothing but a rope.
Mistress, both master and man is possessed. I know by their pale and deadly looks, they must be bound and laid in some dark room.
Say, wherefore didst thou lock me forth today? And why dost thou deny the bag of gold?
I did not, gentle master, lock thee forth.
And, gentle master, I received no gold. But I confess, sir, that we were locked out.
Dissembling villain, thou speakst false in both.
Dissembling harlot, thou art false in all, and art confederate with a damned pack to make a loathsome abject scorn of me. But with these nails I'll pluck out these false eyes that would behold in me this shameful sport.
Oh, bind him! Bind him! Let him not come near me!
More company! The fiend is strong within him! Oh, bind this man, for he is frantic too!
Bear me forth into his creditor, and knowing how the debt grows, I will pay it. Good master doctor, see him safe conveyed home to my house. Oh, most unhappy day!
Oh, most unhappy strumpet!
Thank you all. Very well done. All right. So we are moving from here to Richard III, Act 5, Scene 3. We will have Steve as Richard and Molly as Richmond. And we have a variety of ghosts in this scene. So appearing as ghosts of Prince Edward, we have Carl. Of Henry IV, we have Jeremy. Of Clarence, Kevin. Of Hastings, myself. Princes 1 and 2 are Patricia and Jake, respectively. Anne will be Vera, and Buckingham will be Kelly. So if we are ready to begin.
Radcliffe, send over Vesuvian arms to Stanley's regiment. Bid him before sunrising. Bless his son, George, fall you into the blind cave of eternal night. Fetch me a bowl of wine, and give me a watch. Settle wet survey of the field for the field tomorrow, and look that my staffs be sound, but not too heavy. Radcliffe, about midnight tomorrow, come to my tent and help to arm me. leave me, I say.
O thou, whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye. Put in their hands thy bruising irons of wrath, that they may crush down with a heavy fall the usurping helmets of our adversaries. Make use thy ministers of chastisement, that we may praise thee in thy victory. To thee I do commend my watchful soul, ere I let fall the windows of mine eyes, sleeping and waking. Oh, defend me still.
Let me sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow. Think how thou stabbedst me in my prime of youth at Tewkesbury. Despair, therefore, and die. Be cheerful, Richmond, for the wronged souls of butchered princes fight and die by half. King Henry's issue, Richmond, comforts thee.
When I was mortal, my anointed body by thee was punched full of deadly holes. Think on the tower enemy, despair and die. Henry VI bids thee despair and die. Virtuous and holy be thou conqueror. Harry that prophesies thou shouldst be king doth comfort thee in sleep. Live and flourish.
Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow. I that was washed to death with fulsome wine. Poor Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow, in the battle, think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Thou, offspring of the house of Lancaster, the wronged heirs of York do pray for thee. Good angels guard thy battle. Live and flourish.
Bloody and guiltily awake, and in bloody battle end thy days. Think on Lord Hastings, despair and die. Quiet, untroubled soul, awake, awake, arm, fight, and conquer for fair England's sake.
Dream on, thy cousin smothered in the tower.
Let us be laid within thy bosom, Richard, and weigh thee down to ruin, shame, and death.
Thy nephew's soul bids thee despair and die.
Sleep, Richmond, sleep in peace, and wake in joy. Good angels guard thee from the boar's annoy.
Live and beget a happy race of kings. Edward's unhappy sons do bid thee flourish.
Richard, thy wife, that wretched Anne, thy wife, that never slept a quiet hour with thee, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle, think on me, and fail thy edgeless sword, despair and die. Thou, quiet soul, sleep thou a quiet sleep, dream of success and happy victory. Thy adversary's wife doth pray for thee.
The first was I that helped thee to the crown. The last was I felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death, fainting, despair, despairing, yield thy breath. I died for hope, ere I could lend thee aid. but cheer thy heart. And he, thou know dismayed, God and good angels fight on Richmond's side, and Richard fall in height of all his pride.
Give me another heart! Bind my wounds! God have mercy! Jesus! Oh, myself. Oh, I did but dream. Oh, coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me? Lights turn blue. Oh, it's now done midnight. Go fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I fear myself? And there's none else by. Richard loves Richard. The I am I. Is there a murderer here? No? Yes. I am. Then fly. Well, from myself, good reason. Why? Lest I revenge. Myself upon myself. I love myself. Wherefore, for any good that I myself have done unto myself? Oh no, alas, I rather hate myself. For hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain. Yeah, I lie. I am not. Oh, fool. Of thyself speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience has 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings in a several tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. Perjury! Perjury in the highest degree. Murder! Stern murder in the direst degree. Oh, several sins. Oh, used in each degree, thrown all to the bar, crying out, guilty! Guilty! I shall despair. There's no creature loves me. And if I die, no soul shall pity me. Nay, wherefore should they, since I myself, finding myself no pity to myself? Methought all those that I had murdered came to my tent, and everyone did vengeance, and I had Richard.
The sweetest sleep and fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head. Methought their souls, whose bodies Richard murdered, came to my tent and cried on victory. How far into the morning is it? 4? Why then 'tis time to arm and give direction. More than I have said, loving countrymen, the leisure and enforcement of the time forbids to dwell upon. Yet remember this, God and our good cause fight upon our side. The prayers of holy saints and wronged souls, like high-reared bulwarks, stand before our faces. Richard, except those whom we fight against, had rather have us win than him they follow. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, a bloody tyrant and a homicide. One raised in blood and one in blood established. One that made means to come by what he hath and slaughtered those that were the means to help him. A base, foul stone made precious by the foil of England's chair where he is falsely set. One that hath ever been God's enemy. Then if you fight against God's enemy, God will in justice ward you as his soldiers. If you do swear to put a tyrant down, you sleep in peace, the tyrant being slain. If you do fight against your country's foes, your country's fat shall pay your pains the higher. If you do fight to safeguard of your wives shall welcome home the conquerors. If you do free your children from the sword, your children's children quits it in your age. Then, in the name of God and all these rights, advance your standards. Draw your willing swords. For me, the random of my bold attempt shall be this cold corpse on the earth's cold face. But if I thrive, the gain of my attempt, the least of you shall share this part thereof. Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George, Richmond and victory.
Thank you all. Fantastic. That, by the way, was a full cast performance and the only one tonight. So you saw everybody there. Next, we have Sonnet 53 being read by Carl.
Is your substance? Whereof are you made, that millions of strange shadows on you tend? Everyone hath, everyone, one shade, and you but one can every shadow lend. Describe Adonis, and the counterfeit is poorly imitated after you. On Helen's cheek all art of beauty set, and you in Grecian tires are painted new. Speak of the spring and foison of the year, the one doth shadow of your beauty show, the other as your bounty doth appear. And you, in every blessed shape we know, in all external grace you have some part, but you like none, none you, for constant part.
Thank you, Carl. Next, we have from Macbeth, Act 3, Scene 5, we have Kelly bringing us Hecate. Give them a second to switch out of the computer. Are you ready, Kelly?
Have I not reason? Beldams as you are, saucy and overbold. How dare you to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part or show the glory of our art. And, which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, and not for you. But make amends now. Go. Get you gone, and in the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms, and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground. And that distilled by magic delights, I'll catch it, and it shall raise such artificial sprites as, by the strength of their illusions, shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know, Security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Hark! I am called. My little spirit, see? It sits in a fog and stays for me.
Thank you, Kelly. So next we will have from Midsummer Act 2, Scene 1. We have as Puck, Molly, as the fairy, Jake, as Oberon, Jeremy, and as Titania, Vera.
How now, spirit? Whither wander you?
Over hill, over dale, through bush, through a brier, over park, over pear, through a flood, through a fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy queen, to do her orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall her pensioners be, and their gold coal spots you see. Those be rubies, fairy favors, and their freckles live their saviors. I must go seek some new dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. Farewell, thou lava spirits, I'll be gone. Our queen and all her elves come here anon.
The king doth keep his revels here tonight. Take heed the queen come not within his sight, for Oberon is passing fell and wrath, because that she has her attendant hath a lovely boy stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling, and jealous Oberon would have the child. Knight of his train to trace the forest's wile, but she perforce withholds the loved boy, crowns him with flowers and makes him all her joy, and now they never meet, in grove or green, by fountain clear or spangled starlight sheen, but they do square, that all their elves for fear creep into acorn cups and hide them there.
Either I mistake your shape in making coy, or else you are that shrewd and knavish spray. Call it Robin Goodfellow, or you not be, that frights the maidens of the villagery. Skim milk and sometimes labor in the quern, and bootless make the breathless housewife churn. And sometimes make the drink to bear no barm, mislead night wanderers, laughing at their harm. Those at Hobgoblin call you a sweet Puck. You do their work, and they shall have good luck. Are you not he?
Fairy, thou speakest aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile, when I a fat and bean-fed horse beguile, neighing in likeness of a filly foal, and sometimes lurk I in a gossip's bowl, in very likeness of a roasted crab, and when she drinks, against her lips I bob, and on her withered dewlap pour the ale, the wisest aunt telling the saddest tale, sometime for 3-foot-stool mistaketh me. Then slip I from her bum, down topples she, and Taylor cries and falls into a cough. And then the whole choir hold their hips and laugh, and waxen in their mirth and knees, and swear a merrier hour was never wasted there. But room, fairy, here comes Oberon.
And here my mistress, would that he were gone?
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What, jealous Oberon? Fairy, skip hence. I have forsworn his bed and company.
Tarry, rash wanton, am I not thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Phillida. Where art they here but that, forsooth, the bouncing Amazon, your buskined mistress, and your warrior love to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania? Glance at my credit with Hippolyta. Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Periginia, whom he ravished, and make him with fair eagle break his faith with Ariadne and Antiope?
These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never since the middle summer spring met we on hill and dale, by forest or brook, by paved fountain, or by rushy brook, or in the beached margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land hath every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox there hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, The ploughman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and crows are fatted with the Murrian flock. The nine men's morris is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green for lack of tread are undistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with him or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, that rheumatic diseases do abound. And through this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson road, and on old Hyam's thin and icy crown an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is as in mockery set. The spring, the summer, the chiding autumn, angry winter, change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world by their increase now knows not which is which. And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are the parents and original.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Set your heart at rest. The fairy land buys not the child of me. His mother was a votaress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night, full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders of the flood, when we have laughed to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind, which she with pretty and with swimming gait, following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate and sail upon the land to fetch me trifles and return again, as from a voyage rich with merchandise. But she being mortal of that boy did die, and for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our round and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me, and I will spare your haunts.
Give me that boy, and I will go with thee.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairies away, we shall chide downright if I longer stay.
Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury. My gentle Puck, come hither. Thou remembers, once since I sat upon a promontory and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back, uttering such a dulcet and harmonious breath that the rude sea grew civil at her song, and certain stars shot madly from her spheres to hear the sea maid's music.
I remember.
Well, that very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed. A certain aim he took at a fair vestal thorn by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow, as it should pierce 100,000 hearts. But I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quenched in the chaste beams of the watery moon, and the imperial votaress passed on in maiden meditation, fancy free. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk white, now purple, with love's wound, and maidens call it love in idleness. Now, fetch me that flower. The herb I showed thee once, the juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid, will make man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again ere the Leviathan can swim a league.
I'll put a girdle round about the earth in 40 minutes.
Having once this juice, I'll watch Titania when she is asleep and drop the liquor of it in her eyes. The next thing then she waking looks upon, be it lion, bear, wolf, or bull, meddling monkey, or on busy ape, she shall pursue it with the soul of love. And ere I take this charm off from her sight, as I can take it with another herb, I'll make her render up her page to me. Hast thou the flower there? Welcome, wanderer.
Aye, there it is.
I pray thee, give it me. Thank you. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where oxlips and the nodding violet grows, quite over canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania sometime of night, lulled in these flowers with dances and of delight, and there the snake throws her enameled skin weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this I will streak her eyes, and make her full of hateful fantasies.
Thank you. Well done. Thumbs up. All right. Next, we have another sonnet, sonnet number 80, and this one will be read by Kevin.
Oh, how I faint when I of you do right, knowing a better spirit doth use your name, and in the praise thereof spends all his might to make me tongue-tied, speaking of your fame. But since your worth, wide as the ocean is, the humble and the proudest sail doth bear. My saucy bark, inferior far to his, on your broad main doth wilfully appear. Your shallowest help will hold me up afloat, whilst he upon your soundless deep doth ride. Or, being wracked, I am a worthless boat, he of tall building and goodly pride. Then if he thrive, and I be cast away, the worst was this, my love was my decay.
Thank you, Kevin. Oh, I'm so glad we got to include sonnets tonight. These are beautiful. So next we have from Julius Caesar, Act 2, Scene 2. As Caesar, we have Carl, as Calpurnia, Kelly, as the servant, Patricia, and as Decius, I will be appearing. Are we ready?
Not nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight. Thrice hath Calpurnia in her sleep cried out, "Help! Ho! They murder Caesar!" Who's within?
My lord.
Go bid the priest to present sacrifice and bring me their opinions of success.
I will, my lord.
What mean you, Caesar? Think you to walk forth? You shall not stir out of the house today.
Caesar shall forth. The things that threatens me ne'er looked but on my back. When they shall see the face of Caesar, they are vanished.
Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies, yet now they fright me. There is one within, besides the things that we have heard and seen, recounts most horrid sights seen by the watch. A lioness hath whelped in the streets, and graves have yawned and yielded up their dead. Fierce, fiery warriors fought upon the clouds in ranks and squadrons and right form of war. Drizzled blood upon the Capitol. The noise of battles hurtled in the air. Horses did neigh, and dying men groan, and the ghosts did shriek and squeal about the streets. Oh, Caesar! These things are beyond all use, and I do fear them.
What can be avoided? Whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? Yet Caesar shall go forth. These predictions are to the world in general as to Caesar.
When beggars die, there are no comets to see. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes.
Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I yet have heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. What say the augurers?
They would not have you to stir forth today, plucking the entrails of an offering forth. They could not find a heart within the beast.
The gods do this in shame of cowardice. Caesar should be a beast without heart. If he should stay at home today for fear, no, Caesar shall not. Danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. We are two lions littered in one day, and I the elder and more terrible, and Caesar shall go forth.
Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. Do not go forth today. Call it my fear that keeps you in the house, and not your own. We'll send Mark Antony to the Senate House, and he shall say you are not well today. Let me, upon my knee, prevail in this.
Mark Antony shall say, I am not well, and for thy humor, I will stay at home. Here's Decius Brutus. He shall tell them so.
Caesar, all hail. Good morrow, worthy Caesar. I come to fetch you to the Senate House.
And you are come in very happy time to bear my greeting to the senators and tell them that I will not come today. Cannot is false, and that I dare not, falser. I will not come today. Tell them so, Decius.
Say he is sick.
Shall Caesar send a lie? Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far to be afraid to tell graybeards the truth? Decius, go tell them Caesar will not come.
Most mighty Caesar, let me know some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell them so.
The cause is in my will. I will not come. That is enough to satisfy the Senate. But for your private satisfaction, because I love you, I will let you know. Calpurnia here, my wife, stays me at home. She dreamt tonight she saw my statua, which, like a fountain with 100 spouts, did run pure blood, and many lusty Romans came smiling, and did bathe their hands in it, and these does she apply for warnings and portents, evils imminent. And on her knee, begged that I will stay at home today.
This dream, it's all a misinterpreted. It was a vision fair and fortunate. Your statue spouting blood in many pipes, in which so many smiling Romans bathed, signifies that from you great Rome shall suck reviving blood, and that great men shall press for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizance. This by Calpurnia's dream is signified.
And this way have you well expounded it.
I have, when you have heard what I can say, and know it now. The Senate have concluded to give this day a crown to mighty Caesar. If you shall send them word you will not come, their minds may change. Besides, it were a mock act to be rendered for someone to say, break up the Senate till another time, when Caesar's wife shall meet with better dreams. If Caesar hide himself, shall they not whisper, lo, Caesar is afraid? Pardon me, Caesar, for my dear, dear love, to your proceeding bids me tell you this, and reason to my love is liable.
How foolish do your fears seem now, Calpurnia? I am ashamed I did yield to them. Give me my robe, for I will go.
Thank you, thank you. Un-Greek myself, just a smidge. Roman? I was Roman. I was not Greek in the slightest. I am on top of it tonight. Next, we have a pair of sonnets from Vera. She will be doing the last two sonnets, 153 and 154. Vera?
Cupid laid by his brand and fell asleep. A maid of Dian's this advantage found, and his love-kindling fire did quickly steep in a cold valley fountain of that ground, which borrowed from this holy fire of love a dateless lively heat still to endure, and grew a seething bath, which yet men prove against strange maladies a sovereign cure. But at my mistress' eye, love's brand new fired, the boy for trial need would touch my breast. I sick with all the help of bath desire, and thither hide a sad distempered guest. But found no cure, the bath for my help lies where Cupid got new fire, my mistress' eyes. The little love god lying was asleep, laid by his side his heart-inflaming brand, whilst many nymphs that vowed chaste life to keep came tripping by, but in her maiden hand the fairest votary took up that fire, which many legions of true hearts had warmed, and so the general of hot desire was sleeping by a virgin hand disarmed. This brand she quenched in a cool well by, which from love's fire took heat perpetual, growing a bath and healthful remedy for men diseased, but I, my mistress' thrall, came there for cure, and this by that I prove, love's fire heats water, water cools not love.
Thank you, Vera. It was wonderful. We have just a couple more tonight. Next, we have King Lear, Act 1, Scene 2, a speech from Edmund by Steve.
This is the most excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the surface of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters, the sun, the moon, and the stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherers by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by the enforced obedience of planetary influence, and all that we are evil, in by a divine thrusting on, an admirable evasion of whore-master man to lay his goatish disposition on the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am I had the maidenless star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing.
Thank you, Steve. We have one more tonight from Tempest. We have Jeremy with Prospero's epilogue. Jeremy?
Well, now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now, 'tis true I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the receiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, arts to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful night, if a little short, but it was so much fun to go through all these superstitious portions of Shakespeare's work. So if all of our actors could bring their cameras in, I've moved us into speaker view, and we are going to run a quick curtain call. So please remember to open your microphone and make some noise so we can see you when you take your bow. Tonight, and in no particular order and without listing all your characters again, because I'm not going to do that. We had Molly,
Hi guys, thanks for watching. Donate to the center and go see American Sun and Songs for a New World.
We had Steve.
Hello. To thy own self be true. Good night.
We had Jake and Patricia.
Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to donate.
We had Carl and Kelly.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Donate if you can. Oh,
We
whoops.
we had Vera and Jeremy.
Thank you. Yeah.
And over here we had Kevin
Cheers, friends. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
and myself. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, many of our actors consider the Center for Performing Arts to be our theatrical home in better times. They are currently running Songs for a New World and American Sun. We saw American Sun last night. It is overwhelming.
It's an incredible and powerful show done by just an all-star cast. So go see it if you have the chance, please.
And of course, if you have the opportunity and the inclination, please make a donation to the center on this post or on their website. It depends on how you're watching us, where the link is. It's around. So thank you once again for joining us. Please join us again next week. Next week is Comedy of Errors.
That's the plan.
Next week is Comedy of Errors. Woo! We're going to get our mistaken identities on. So please join us for that. And good night from Living Room Shakespeare.
Bye.